Welcome back, friends, to another episode of Lynch Paints, where I, Lynch, will be showing you all how to paint the newer, not so quite new now, Mk6 Marines for the Horus Heresy for your Night Lord Legions. So let us grab our flaying knives and paintbrushes and paints, and let's dive straight into it. And of course, as always, before we start painting, we're going to need a selection of paints, and these are all the ones that I've used in this video today, alongside which you will need a medium-sized brush, a smaller teeny tiny brush, and a even teeny weeny teeny tiny brush for those teeny tiny places. So we're going to start out with a black acrylic primer just to base our miniatures on. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to grab a medium-sized brush and we're going to mix some Abaddon black with some of our lovely Cantor blue. So we're going to want probably quite a dark mixture to start out with. And then what we're going to do is we will wet blend the colour onto the model. We're going to slowly kind of start out with a very dark blue and then build ourselves up to a brighter, darker blue. Basically kind of going from this to Cantor blue. And then we're going to start out with picking out the areas where our light source is going to be hitting the model. So we're going to maybe go up to about sort of here, and not worrying too much about sort of the front of the leg, but doing the upper sort of thigh area here as well. And we're going to water it down just to wet blend so we have a nice smooth blending. Really, you can alternatively use a dry brush and dry brush this over the model to give the same sort of effect, but I quite like to wet blend, but the choice is there if you'd like it. So the first layer is dry. We're just going to continue adding in more and more Cantor blue until we end up with using just pure Cantor blue just in a few little areas. And as we build up the layers, we are going to be working in smaller and smaller areas just to help better create a sort of smooth blended effect. So now I'm just using pure Cantor blue, just picking out just a few little areas now, just to really help sell that midnight clad look that the Night Lords are famous for. And you might be wondering, why am I leaving the shoulder pads and also the backpack in black? Well, this is because these are going to be my Seeker squads, and I just want them to stand out from the rest of my army, from like the regular tactical squads and the terror squads that I have. And I was sort of looking through some of the artworks and such, and I thought that this actually looks really cool, so that's what I'm going to go for. But of course, if you're painting just the standard legionaries, just the standard tactical squads, then you're going to want to paint the shoulder pads and the backpack as well. So moving on to highlighting. Now, I don't normally highlight just my standard infantry, but purely because I have quite a lot of them and it would take ages, but I will do just for this video for everyone watching along at home. So I'm going to mix up some Cantor blue with a little bit of this Lothram blue. It doesn't have to be Lothram blue, just any form of lighter blue will do. And then just using a quite small brush, not a medium-sized brush, we are going to just pick out not all of the highlighting, but just some of the raised areas, just so we get the point across that the armour looks like it's highlighted. So now that the highlighting has been done, I'm just going to go back over to the black areas. Just going to mix some Abaddon black with some of the Storm Vermin fur, so to add more of a grey hue to the armour. And then, very similarly to the rest of the armour, we're just going to pick out a larger area first, and then we'll work smaller and smaller till we have a nice little highlight. And now I will quickly just highlight some of the backpack areas just using pure storm vermin fur. I forgot to mention beforehand that you can, if you'd like, with the darker areas, just use a dry brush just to blend those colours in. You don't have to wet blend, you can just, like I say, get a nice fluffy brush and dry brush. So moving on to our next step, we are going to want some silver. So I've chosen this Iron Warriors silver, and then with a small brush we are going to pick out all the metalworks. So when it comes to the trim, a lot of the Night Lords that are currently painted out there tend to have them in a silver, but I quite like mine to be in a gold. And I tend to have more of a darker gold, so I like to mix some of this Warlock bronze and this brass scorpion, and then highlight it with more of the brass scorpion. So it's not a very kind of glaring, really sort of very regal gold. It's more of a sort of a dirty, darker gold, which sort of fits the tone of the Legion. So now it's time for the lenses. So I've mixed up some Abaddon black and some of this Mephiston red, and then just getting us very, very small, very fine detail brush. We're just going to slowly work our way to doing the lenses. And with this you want to try and keep the back of the lens as dark as possible, and then build the light source up to the very sort of middle of the eyes. And then at the back you just give it a final little tiny dot of white just to show the illusion, the effect of reflection. And again with this, just take your time. Keep your paints nice and thinned and mortared. So our Night Lord is very nearly ready, but the one thing that really makes him a Night Lord is the lightning effects on the armour. So we're going to grab some of this Lothran blue, so any kind of light blue that you have at your disposal, and with a fine detail brush with a lovely nice point and your paint's nice and thinned, we are going to start some lightning. So if you'd like, you can always look up some reference pictures just to give you an idea of how lightning is formed beforehand. Then please go ahead, and what we're going to do is that we're just going to make some nice simple lines and simple shapes over the armour. And what I generally tend to do is that I'd pick out a leg and then an arm, and then either around the head or on the torso, just anywhere that you can comfortably reach. You don't want to be sort of trying to get up and underneath and it not working out, and then it kind of looks a little bit poo. So pick somewhere that is going to be easy to reach to create this effect. So now we're going to want a 50-50 mix of our blue with white, and with this we are going to try and aim for the middle of the lines that we had created beforehand. So when you're first placing them in, you can be sort of quite loose with it and a little bit wider than you'd think you need it, which is good because that's going to sort of provide our initial sort of glow with the lightning. So it is important to have that first line thicker, if you can, than this stage, this point where we start to fill it in with the actual lightning. Finally, just to finish it off, we're just going to use some pure white scar, and we're just going to add a little dot roughly where the lightning forks out from. This helps to give the impression that the light's intensifying in those areas, adds to the glow effect and makes it much more realistic. And so this is how I went about painting the new Horus Heresy Mk6 Marines in a Night Lord colour scheme. Now again, these are going to be the specialist sort of Seeker squads, which is why the pauldrons and the backpack are black. Normally, if I was painting the standard frontline tactical squad troops, I would paint the shoulder pads and the majority of the backpack, apart from the vents, in the same blue colour scheme as well. Unfortunately, I kind of ran out of time to do the base, and again, the way that I do bases is just a nice simple astrogranite grey, give it a slightly darker wash at the top, and then a nice sort of dry brush over the top again, just with a bit of administration grey. I'm going to be using these in a battle report tomorrow that I'm going to film, and then after all the editing and such, it will be ready hopefully for next week Friday. I'm going to hopefully start to do more battle reports, at least do one a month on the channel, just to as one of my sort of hobby goals for the year. So I really hope that you all stick around and look out for that when it comes out next week, and obviously the subsequent months throughout the year as well. And if you wanted to pick up some of these models yourselves, then do check out the link in the description below for Wayland Games. They're a UK-based retailer, and they stock all kinds of amazing miniatures and board games and card games and all the like. If you wish, click the link and a little bit goes to help support me, which is amazing and really appreciated. Another thing I do awesomely appreciate is a like and subscribe if you're new. That's amazing if you're a reoccurring sort of watcher and viewer. Thank you for watching the latest video and for liking. You are amazing. And there will be stills and reels of this miniature over at my Instagram page at Lynch Paints. You want to check me out over there as well. I'll probably end up doing some kind of giveaway soon, because it is looking a little bit quiet at the minute, but that's probably the algorithm for you. But anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. Stay safe, stay beautiful, and we'll see you next time.